In this video, we're going to be using the nets of three-dimensional shapes to find the surface area. So just to review, area means to cover, and we have to use surface area for 3D shapes because we have 3 dimensions. We have several surfaces, several faces that we will be covering. So we are starting with rectangular prism. Rectangular prism has 6 faces or 6 sides. So we also do make another distinction. We would say that this rectangular prism has a base right here. It's sitting on its base. And the way rectangles work, we have 2 bases and they are congruent. So just like our properties of parallel and congruent sides. So we already have a net here for us. So this is going to be the base that I did not really highlight it, but this is going to be the base. We are not going to highlight every side. We're really going to focus on base. And so another one is going to be right here, not right next to it, because you remember that your net is, a flat model. So you are, when you try to label your shape, label your dimensions, you're trying to imagine that you are folding the sides to make up your shape. So these are the sides, little flaps on the side, and so on. All right, so we do have the labels, the measurements already here. As you notice, just like with any composite shape, we do not see a lot of the same measurements repeating. So for example, this measure is 7. That means this, 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 and this measure is 7 as well. If this measurement is 4, that means this is 4, this is 4, and this is 4. It also just kind of helps to not keep your, not repeating all of these measurements, just kind of helps to keep your work really neat. So let's get started. Area of the base, we're going to start there first. And so the measurements are 7 by 4. So all of this is a rectangular set of shapes. So 7 times 4, base times the height will give us 28, it's centimeters, it's inches, square inches. Done and done. So now we have another set of faces we're going to work on. And I really would like for you to help yourself with identifying what specifically you're working with. Because with these rectangular shapes, you have 2 sets of congruent parallel sides that create their own sides that are congruent and parallel to each other. So you do not really need to find 6 areas because you have 6 faces. You're going to have 3 pairs that you will be working with. Okay, so from here, let's go ahead and find another area. Again, it's the base times the height, so I'm using this measurement. So if you're wondering, well, I know this is 4, but what is this measure? So remember that we're trying to fold your shape. So 3 would be the measure right here, because when you fold this up, it has to match this little side as well. Okay, they have to blend in together, make an edge. 3 by 4, that gives us 12 square inches. And the last set, I'm just gonna leave it blank. We don't need to color code everything. So, but before we move on, I do want to make this pink. And so the last little step, we are left with 3 by 7. 3 by 7. Base and height. That's going to give me 21 square inches. So as we mentioned, every side has its copy. So we have 3 pairs of congruent sides. So it would be 28 times 2 plus 12 times 2 plus 21 times 2. Why am I multiplying by 2? Because every side has a duplicate. 56 plus 24 plus 42 will give us 122 square inches. All right. So during this practice, make sure you're paying attention, highlighting in your note what is super clear, what is not super clear. And make sure to ask questions. So next shape is triangular prism. Let's talk about why is it called triangular prism. In rectangular prism, it kind of made perfect sense because every side is a rectangle. However, the base of your shape gives you its name. Okay, so this is your triangular prism, and triangular prisms have triangles for their bases. So I'm just gonna highlight it right here. Highlighter would work the best. So this is your base. It's not sitting on the base. It's sitting on its sides. Okay. You might say, well, how would I remember? Okay, so bases are, first of all, the same shape, and they're always parallel from each other. Always parallel from each other. They're never next to each other. All right, let's get started. Area of the base is going to be, oh, why am I repeating this? Base times height divided by 2. Why am I using this formula? Because the base shape is a triangle. So since I have a triangle for my base, I'm going to be using the formula for area of a triangle. So my numbers are 4 is my base, 3.5 is my height. So base and height, they always have perpendicular relationship, that 90-degree angles that you are seeing right here. Then we're dividing by 2. That will give us 7 square centimeters. Done and done. Next step that I'm going to take is I'm going to find the areas of my 3 faces. You are always welcome to add measurement if you would like to. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to make a polka dot on this one just to kind of make it a little bit of a difference. So first face that I have is a rectangular, and it's 4 by 6. That will give me 24 square centimeters. However, when we look further into our shape, let's investigate, because it seems like we don't really have lots of other measurements. So this measure and this measure are in a triangle. Nothing else labeled on your triangular prism. But in the net, we are again seeing the measurement of 4. So what we have happening is the base that we're working with is equilateral triangle. So it's 4 by 4 by 4. That's why they're not writing this, not labeling every side. It can get really, really crowded when you label your measurements. So that makes our work really easy because we are almost done. Let's see. We have 2 bases. So we're going to take 7 and multiply by 2 because we have 2 of them. And the 3 sides, the 3 faces that we have are congruent. So we already found our area. So it's going to be 24 times 3. And we're ready for our total area. That's going to give us 14. This is going to give us 60 and 12, 72 for the total of 86 square centimeters. So again, key is pay attention to your labels. Transfer, add any labels that you might want to have in your illustration to help your process. Double check, use your formulas, and don't forget to add the areas because you find in the total surface area, so you will be adding several areas. And now a pyramid. It's called rectangular pyramid. So our last example, rectangular pyramid. It has its name because the base is a rectangle. So please, please, please make sure that you are highlighting. If you don't have highlighter, if you just even use a pencil and make it shade darker, that would be awesome. Let's get started. I always want for you to focus on area of the base first. Just kind of sets the precedence. Where's my base? What are the measurements? Let's find the area. All right. So we have a little bit of clarification in our net. Our base is in the middle. We had only one measure here, but here we have a little bit of clarification. Both sides are 4. That means we have a square base. That means base times height would be 4 by 4, which is 16 square centimeters. Done. Let's talk about our faces. So the face of a triangular pyramid is a triangle. So it unfolds in a really cool looking star-like net. So our triangle that we're working with, we don't have to work with all 4 of them. Since we are working with the square base, that means every one of those triangles is identical. So we just want to make sure the base is 4, the height is 6. So just as a reminder, this is the height. It's called slant height. It's slanted. So when you unfold the shape, that was your height right here, 6 centimeters. Let's find the area of the face. Base times height divided by 2 would be 4 times 6 is 24, divided by 2 is 12. We're ready to find our total surface area. That would be adding all of these areas. Just don't forget, area of the base, we have one base, so it's 16 plus 12 times 4. Why am I multiplying this by 4? Because I have 4 faces. 1, 2, 3, 4. 16 plus 48 for the total of 64 square centimeters. Please have these notes ready, and we're going to work on these 3-dimensional shapes and work on surface area. Make sure that your notes are readily available, and make sure you guys are asking questions.